Welcome to Watches with Dennis, and today I am continuing our march through the Watches and Wonders 2024 collection of watches. We won't get through them all, but I do want to talk about IWC's Portugieser Eternal Calendar. This is actually IWC's first time to do a secular perpetual calendar, and I'm going to go ahead and explain what that means because that's the really interesting part. But I want to go ahead and get some specifications out of the way first. So the reference number for this watch is IW505701. It is a 44.4 millimeter watch that is 15 millimeters thick. It has 50 meters of water resistance. The watch is not loomed. It has rhodium plated hands and appliques. It's contained in a platinum case with a dial that is sort of a glass and white lacquer look. It comes on a black alligator strap, which incorporates a platinum folding clasp. This is not a limited edition watch, but it is listed, I believe, as a call-on request watch, but I've seen online notation that the actual retail price for the watch is $155,000 US, so very, very expensive. And the reason for that is really driven by the movement. This watch is powered by the caliber 52640. That's a 4 Hz automatic movement, which comes with a power reserve of about 7 days, so quite substantive. It features the secular perpetual calendar feature, a perpetual moonphase feature, a power reserve display, and of course, offers hacking seconds. My understanding is there has not even been a half dozen mechanical watch movements capable of being a secular perpetual calendar that have been invented. So, secular perpetual calendars, what do they resolve? The issue comes down to how leap years actually behave. So, perpetual calendars can factor in leap years, and as most people would consider that, meaning that every 4 years we need to factor in a leap year. But there are exceptions. That standard leap year process doesn't actually account for the true rotation of the Earth around the sun. So we have to have times where we skip doing the leap year on the 4th year. That's why the typical perpetual calendar requires a manual adjustment for the year 2100, 2200, 2300. As generally, we skip the leap year for years that end in 00, like 2100, but we also don't skip leap years if the number is evenly divisible by 400. As such, the IWC Portugieser Eternal Calendar actually can handle that. So it will calculate the proper leap year all the way to the year 3999. Whoever the official calendar people are haven't decided whether or not the year 4000 is going to be a leap year or not. So it could go longer even, but at this time, assuming that ends up working the way we think it will, it'll need to be reset at that point. So to me, while by far this secular perpetual calendar aspect is the most interesting, we don't want to overlook the moon phase because that's also incredibly impressive as well. So this movement from IWC also set a new record for moon phase accuracy, with the display for that being accurate for 45 million years. So, I've not handled this watch. This is not a watch review. These are just my first reaction thoughts. What do I think? Mechanically, how can you argue that this is cool? This is, to me at least so far, and I admit I have not been able to read about every single watch yet out of Watches and Wonders, but mechanically, this is the neatest watch secular perpetual calendar is able to do, even though there have been a few others before this one, coupled with this new highly accurate moon phase. Just, to me, is deeply fascinating. Normally, I actually really love the Portugieser dial design. I used to own a Portuguese, which was sort of a predecessor line to the Portugieser, and it wore a little too big for me, but aesthetically, the dial, much simpler than this particular version, but it was a very attractive dial. And I like the configuration overall with how they've handled this with laying out the subdials. It's basically got 4 subdials to accommodate all these various features. The year down at the 730 position, all of that I think works really, really well. The only thing I don't like about this watch is the colorway. This sort of glass on glass with the white lacquer, I'm not feeling it. And with the applied indices, I think it looks fairly washed out. I'm hoping it actually looks better in hand. And this isn't nearly enough of a complaint that I wouldn't want to own a watch like this. But of course, at $155,000, it's off the table for me. Not to mention, I'm not really keen on dress watches that are pushing closer to the 45 millimeter mark. But ultra cool nonetheless. Anyway, those are my first quick reactions to this watch. What are yours? Please comment those below. I'd love to read them. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a like. If you want to be notified when I have a new video come out, just click the subscribe button. Take care, everybody. I'll talk to you all on the next one.